All right, this is Worksheet 3, Unit 8. We're going to do numbers 1 through 6, 11 and 12, 14 and 15. Mr. Trutna, Clovis High School. Okay, numbers 1 through 6. We're using the exponents to fill in the blanks. Let me zoom it in a little bit so it's easier for everybody to see. Okay, so if you notice in number 1, we're given x to the third, and we're multiplying it by x to some unknown power. That's the blank, and that's what we want to fill in, but we want to make the problem equal to x to the seventh. So really what we're doing is we're using the product rule, and we're trying to figure out that 3 plus the other exponent, the blank, what would I have to add that to in order to make that to 7? Okay, so in this particular problem, x would obviously have to be 4. Okay, moving on to the next one, because we are multiplying, to simplify, we are going to add the exponents. So this problem is saying that if I took x and I added it to what power, it would be equal to x to the 12th power. So 4 plus what is equal to 12, so in number 2 the blank is going to have to be equal to 8. In number 3, same idea. Notice that instead of the bases being x, we have the bases being 5. Okay, that does not change the concept that we're using. We're still going to use the product rule, so this is saying 5 to the power of 2 plus what power would be equal to 5 to the 11 power. In this case, the blank would have to be equal to 9, because 2 plus 9 is equal to 11. Okay? In number 4, little bit different, because in this problem, the equation, or what's being multiplied, is going to be equal to 1. So using the product rule, we're saying that a to some power plus the 4th power would have to be equal to 1. Now, the only way to make a to a power equal to 1 is I would have to change this into a to the 0 power. And the reason for that is because a to the 0 power is equal to 1. So really, what would I have to add to 4 to make it 0? And that would have to be negative 4. Okay, number 5, we have x to the 12th power. We're going to add, because we're multiplying, so we're using the product rule, we're going to add the exponents together, and the unknown is the blank, and we need to make it equal to the 5th power. Okay, so really, if you're having trouble doing these in your head, you can think of this as almost as an algebraic equation where these x's would basically cancel each other out, and I could subtract 12 from each side, and that would mean that the blank would have to be equal to negative 7. So you could solve these problems by using an algebraic equation if you wanted to. So in number 6, if I combine these two x's together by using the product rule, I would have x to the blank plus 8. Well, that would have to be equal to x to the 2nd. These x's would cancel each other out, and so in order to solve for the blank, I would have the blank plus 8 is equal to 2. Subtracting 8 from each side, just using algebra, we would get that the blank would have to be equal to 2 minus 8, which is negative 6. Okay? All right, so in number 11, 12, 14, and 15, we're simplifying each expression, and then we're going to write our final answer using only positive exponents. So in number 11, we have a negative exponent. So the first thing that needs to be done is this problem needs to be rewritten using only positive exponents. So to rewrite 2x in parentheses to the negative 3 power, that would be rewritten as 1 over 2x to the positive 3 power. That's using the negative exponent rule. Now we are going to apply this outside exponent 3 to everything on the inside. So that outside exponent of 3 is applied to the 2. It's also applied to the x. And so to simplify this problem, I would have 1, 2 to the 3rd power is 8, because that's 2 times 2 times 2, and then we get x to the 3rd power. So there's number 11. Number 12, if you notice, 12 looks a little bit different than number 11. by the fact that we don't have the parentheses. So this means that that negative 3 power in number 12 is only applying to the x. So when I rewrite this problem, or this expression, using only positive exponents, the 2 is going to stay on the numerator, and then we're going to get x to the positive 3 on the denominator. And that's going to be your simplified answer. You cannot do anything with that, and we have only positive exponents. Number 14, we have 6xy to the negative 1 power. We're going to divide this by negative 2x to the negative 2 power y to the negative 1 power. Okay, so in this particular problem, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite the problem using only positive exponents, and then I'm going to simplify the problem out. Okay, I'm going to give myself a little bit more room right here to rewrite it. Actually, I'll rewrite it down here. So the 6 will stay where it's at. The x will stay where it's at. The y to the negative 1, I'm going to have to move to the denominator of the problem. Okay, now I'm going to simplify the denominator. The negative 2 will stay where it's at. The x to the negative 2 power is going to has to be moved up to the numerator. So I'm going to have an x to the positive 2 power in the numerator, and that y to the negative 1 will have to get moved up, so then we would have a y on the numerator. Okay, now I'm going to simplify this problem. So 6 divided by negative 2, those are the coefficients, so I go ahead and divide those out. That gives me negative 3. This x, which has a power of 1, multiplied by this x, which has a power of 2, means that you're going to add the exponents together. So we're going to add up the 1 and the 2, and then the y's, because there's a y on the numerator and the denominator, they would cancel each other out. So my simplified answer for number 14 is negative 3x to the positive 3rd power. Number 15, I have 21m to the 5/4. I'm dividing it by 3m to the 1/4. So because I have division, I'm going to use the quotient rule. So the quotient rule says take the coefficients, which are 21 and 3, go ahead and divide those, and then take the exponents of the same base, which are the m's, and then you're going to subtract the exponents. So you're going to take 5/4, and from it you're going to subtract 1/4. Simplifying this out, 21 divided by 3 is 7. M, 5/4 minus 1/4 is 4/4. 4/4 is just at 1. So that would be my solution to number 15.